a lot of the time we look at players and we say it's all about talent, 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 talent. Okay. And if you've got the talent, then that's all that matters. But mentality is key as well. Mentality is huge. And often people would look at players like Victor Gyökeres through a certain lens and they'd say, well, this guy's 27 years old. And where has he really played of note to suggest that this is the guy that we should be going out and breaking the bank to sign this summer? But there are examples over the years of players who developed later, of players who developed at a later stage, in part because they'd been through some really difficult experiences, sometimes lower down the league, sometimes at less glamorous clubs, sometimes at clubs in different divisions. And they went on to really thrive at a slightly later point in their career. I think in our eyes, right, we look at this very black and white, right? So you'd say that from 18 to 21, you class a player now as a young player. From maybe 23 to 29, you'd say, or 28, you'd say that's their peak. And then after that, you'd argue that there's normally a decline. But that isn't always how it works. Think of people like Jamie Vardy, right, who went through this really grueling career up until the point where he landed at Leicester City, and he was able to move with the level change and become a really effective player and had his best days at a much later stage in his career than most people would. I would argue that Olivier Giroud is another player who, as he got older, got better. And as he got older, became more and more accomplished and used some of the difficult and tough experiences he'd had through his career to make himself the best version of himself at a slightly later point. Kari Tanninen points out Ian Wright. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of players who, break that mold, who aren't necessarily amazing at 24, 25 years old, but in the latter stages of their career, as you would say, if you're looking at it through a more traditional viewpoint or a more conventional lens, you'd go, actually, no, they were better at this stage